Hello, everyone. These blue light glasses are really strong. You can see the yellow film. It's really combating the blue screen. I hope everyone's doing well. If you don't have blue light glasses, you should get them. These are really protecting my eyes. I stare at screens all day long, um, and I've been getting really bad headaches, so I started to get a stronger blue light glass, and now it looks yellow. So that's what these are. Today has been just a whirlwind. I apologize. We are 41 minutes later than usual, but today, like I had said on my stories, today has just been really wild, unpredictable, and I'm just going with the flow. So, welcome to season 2, episode 4. We finished our roofs last time. If you want to get caught up and model along with me, please feel free to check out the past live streams posted on my video feed. And you can go to the YouTube link as well and watch the screen recorded versions if you can't see exactly what I'm clicking on through the Instagram live. I will be getting into the windows and doors for this project today, which is exciting. And I'll be showing you guys all of the websites I use to get my windows and doors families. So let's get started. Just putting you guys up in my stand here and making sure you guys are locked and loaded. Alrighty. So it looks like we are all ready to go, and I'm just going to bring up the image from last time. These are the images we are using to model this house. So a lot of arched openings, a lot of really big square pieces of glass. They look like picture windows or casement windows. And yeah, let us get started. So the first website that I'm going to go to is called Anderson Windows and Doors. And they are a product manufacturer that we use all of the time at my day job. And they have really good BIM families. So normally I will go to Windows and I'll sort of look through the windows. For the purpose of this exercise, I'm just going to go straight to the 4 pros, and then we're going to go to architectural tools, CAD, BIM. So as far as series go, for this modeling purpose, we don't really need to be specific about the series. Certain series might have more options for windows available, and some series might be limited. Series also can determine what the material of the window is. So obviously we aren't going to be really getting into that accuracy of it, but if this was like a real project you were going to be building for a client, you would definitely want to, look at the differences between the series and sort of figure out which one you're trying to use. So for the purpose of today, I'm just going to go to the 400 series because I know that they're like typical windows, and I'm going to do casement and awning. And in here you can see it's all these different types of windows, and that's great. So I'm just going to click on the download Revit. It gives me a zip file, and in the zip file is all these different windows. So 400 series single, 400 series stacked. We can look at what this looks like. We can open them up together. It should just, yes. So you always just want to upgrade the model. We're going to see what it looks like. Okay, so this is what it looks like, a stacked window. The 400 series triple. We can see what this one looks like, and I'm really just gauging like what these look like. So if I go back to my reference image, which I have here, we can see that I have, it looks like just single windows. I might model these. Maybe it could be a triple cased, or I'll just like place them next to each other really closely. But most of the time, I'll either model out of storefront or I'll just model a single window side by side. I'm going to see if there's any in the back that are like specifically. These all look like single windows. These look like two next to each other. These are just punched. This is like a transom. These are long and skinny on their own. So let's see if we can find like a triple one like this. If not, we can just improvise. So right now, this is like a triple transom. I'm not really sure this is this. Well, it could be. Has a lot of casement. We could probably turn the casement off if we wanted to. Um, this is really giving me like a storefront vibe just because it doesn't have any trim around it. It's just like a mullion. What I'm going to do is, because it's three together and this is also three together, is I'm going to load it in. I think that I could use this and make it tall. Maybe turn the casement off. Not sure if that's an option. I don't really remember. Just bumped my screen over. So yeah, I'm just going to randomly place that. So it's in there. So it says it's awning. It doesn't really matter for the purpose of this. It just means it's going to show up with like a little opening arrow in 3D. So we know we have our triple windows here. And now we have our triple window here, which is great because it's all connected and I don't have to just punch them next to each other, which can be kind of annoying. And that means it's going to show up properly in floor plan as well. So there's the triple ones. We're going to stretch them out, make them good to look at the size. Let's see what else we have. We have awning series twin. So that's probably just a double. Then we have casement series single, casement series triple, casement series twin, picture single, transom fixed single, transom fixed triple, transom fixed twin. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually, instead of awning, I'm going to use the proper window, which would be casement, which means it doesn't open. An awning window opens like at the top. Usually it's hinged at the top. And if we go to an elevation, it's just going to show these dashed lines to show where it's hinged at. And if we use the casement windows, series triple, then we're going to have no lines, which is a little bit more accurate for this project. Again, we don't have to be 100%, but that's the difference. And that is why I'm using them, because from this picture, it looks like these are probably not opening anytime soon. And then the other one that I want to load in is a casement single. Those big ones I'll make out of the single one. So we'll load that in. There's the single, then we have the casement series triple. And then if we just go back to that elevation, we can see that the casement windows are opening on the side and then not here. So awning windows open here, casement windows usually open from the side. I think I said before that the casement windows don't open. I'm mistaken. Casement windows open from the side. I always get them all confused. Picture windows are ones that don't open. For this, again, I'm just going to leave it, you know, they only have a picture in single here. So I want the three to be together. So therefore, I'm just going to leave them all together. Even though, you know, this one says casement and this one says awning, it doesn't really matter with how they're opening. So it is interesting though to me that they only have picture as a single. Because picture is what doesn't open. You'd think that they'd have all these for the picture one as well, but it's okay. So transom really you can just like make the like the single or the picture a transom size. You don't really need to use a specific transom window. That would be considered a transom because it's up high, but I think we'll just use this window, the single, and manipulate it to be different sizes. So I'm going to leave that. We're going to use these two primarily. The three, they're together. The singles, all different sizes. And then it does look like we need a double. So I'm just going to go back to this. And I'm going to do a casement twin. That should just be two, side by side. And that's what we'll need. So if we go back to the Anderson website, you can see that the 400 series gave me all these different ones, and we opened up the zip file. That's what we have access to. I'm just going to close it now because I don't really need it anymore. But 400 series usually has a lot of options. The A series, you can see that it has different descriptions in casement and awning. The 400, again, has a lot of the ones we're using. Single, twin, triple, stacked, picture, transom. So yeah, and you can see 200. These are a little bit different. Again, these are a little bit different. Then we start to get into specialty products. So I chose to do the 400 series because it has the most like standard windows, single, triple, twin. And all of the other series are more specific. So yeah, the 400 series is like your standard typical windows you see all of the time. And then all the other ones are more specialty and higher end windows. These have different sizes. This is like a hexagon window, which is pretty cool. There are different doors we can get. Gliding doors, commercial doors, outswing doors. It's looking like from these pictures, we probably have a sliding door here. The rest just look like regular doors, so this is probably just a sliding door. So I'm going to go to Anderson. I'm just going to go back to the 400 series again because it's the most standard series. And they have Frenchwood gliding doors. So I'm just going to, a gliding door is like a sliding door. An in-swing door is just open in and out like normal doors do. Based on this, it's looking like a sliding door. If it was an in-swing door, it would have a little swing like the entry does, like these entry doors do. So this is definitely a glider. And I'm going to just download this, open up the zip file. Now we have a double, we have a quad, we have a single. This is it comes with the transom above it. So we're just going to do the double. Pretty standard, typical doors and windows, and load that in. And I really love the Anderson website just because it has so many different options. Obviously, these don't actually go here, but I just want to show you guys what they look like in the project. And another website that I like to use a lot is also a window and door one. It's called Pella Windows and Doors. So I'll just show you guys this website really quickly. We're probably not going to need to use it today right now, but they have the same thing for pros. Um, we can go to architect, and then we can go to product downloads, and we can see that there are a bunch of different things. So we can view details. And then we can go to 3D and BIM, and SketchUp files and Revit files come up here. So it's pretty cool. Pella is also really good for resources for doors and windows. Now I'm looking. We have hexagon windows there. We have some bays and bows. We have specialty windows. So we're going to need a right triangle. It doesn't look like they have a Revit file. So for the side of this, we need a triangle. Now we could do it out of storefront, but I like to do things out of windows if we're going to use the window. It's just easier for scheduling reasons in the Revit model, and it's easier to like have it actually be a window because a storefront shows up differently in your floor plan and a window looks different. So I like to just use a window if it's going to be a window. If I'm in a conceptual stage and maybe I'm not sure if it's going to be storefront or window, I'll just start modeling it in storefront. I really do try to avoid that though, because I don't like to have to go back and then change all the storefront I modeled to actually windows. Usually just like to start out with either Anderson or Pella BIM models and use them, because then those windows turn into like actual products that I spec as the project goes on. So it just really cuts out like having to go back and like make it real, so to speak, if you model out of storefront to begin with. So that's my like really top tip, is like just go in with windows straight away. Like it saves so much time. You don't have to redo stuff. So the thing about Anderson is I don't think they have BIM models for like specialty windows. So I've had to make them out of storefront, and then I found out Pella actually does have the specialty ones. So if we just look really quick, there's no like right angle, and then it does say like specialty windows. They only have, your standard DWG file, and it's not an actual BIM model. And that is the case for all the specialty windows in every series, as we can see here, which is kind of sad because like specialty windows in Revit, obviously it would be really nice to just have them made for us, but it's not always the case. So here in the 100 series, it looks like they have a Revit model in the 100 series. They don't have a Revit model in any of the other series, which is interesting. This actually might be new because I used to have to go to Pella, but we're going to click on it, 100 series, and we're going to look. Yeah, see, window fixed Anderson 100 series. I don't think this is what I want. Like, I want specialty shapes. So I think it's just going to give me a picture window. I doubt that all of these different things, they would be listed if they were actually going to be. Yeah, see, it's just a normal casement window. So I'm just going to close out of that, and we're just going to pop over to the Pella website really quickly. And I'm going to go to Windows, and I'm going to go to Custom Windows. I'm not sure. It's been a little bit since I've had to download really funky shapes. I had one project where I did trapezoid windows, and that was pretty cool. I think what I can do is the trapezoid windows, and then it just becomes a triangle. Oh no, they do have triangles. So yeah, this is a really good website, Pella, for like specialty windows. They have a lot of cool sizes. Like, look at all these cool projects. This is not sponsored, I promise. I just use their BIM stuff a lot. So we're gonna want to go to the right triangle. We're gonna want to get that. I can't seem to just like click on it, so let's see For pros, let's go to architecture, windows, and then I know I've used pellet and pervia before, and we're gonna go to fixed frame. Fixed frame shapes. Again, they have SketchUp models, so if you're a SketchUp user, I don't know why you're watching this video, I'm just kidding. If you're a SketchUp user, if you're more comfortable with SketchUp, this is an option. If you're just watching this and you're like, should I dabble in Revit? Yes, you should. But if you are still comfortable in SketchUp, they have BIM models for SketchUp. So let's see, where did my file go? This is Anderson. I don't know. Where's this going? It's just like popping out and then not doing anything. Fixed frames. Can you download? Can you download? I don't know why it's not downloading for me. It gives you prices. So the other one opened. Fixed frame windows, vertical integral mullion, material catalogs. This is interesting. I just want the fixed frame shapes. Well, I don't know why. Maybe we can go to a different window. Back to pros, architect, windows. Let's see. Let's just do fixed frame traditional. Doesn't really matter in the series right now. I'm just trying to get a download. So fixed frame shapes. Let's see. Yay! Full arch, springline, half circle, parallelogram, partial arch head, partial springline, pentagon, quarter circle, rectangle, right triangle, and trapezoid. Thank you, Pella, for providing me with all of these amazing specialty shapes. Now we have our right triangle loaded in. It's a lot of mullions. We're just loading everything in, and then we're going to adjust it as needed. So that is everything. I can close out of my browsers because I'm just going to focus on the slider and these main windows. So now the crucial thing that I want to do is I really want to save the project. Everything loaded in. All of the pieces and parts I just went and got off the websites, and now I'm going to save it because saving is important. All right. So we got some big windows. We got some different shaped windows. It looks like I can get the width of the windows from the floor plan. Which is good. And the height, I'll just have to guess on the height. I don't think I ever built this dormer, but it doesn't mean we won't get there. I just realized now I don't think I ever built it. Yeah, I didn't. Little baby dormer missing. It's okay. All right, so level 1 floor plan. For now, I'm just gonna like do CS. I apologize for the dogs you probably hear barking in my background. My mom lives upstairs and she has a lot of animals and they bark and they make noises. So if you can hear my mom's animals barking, that's what that is. So I'm just gonna put that there. It doesn't actually look like that, or it does go there, but we'll be manipulating it. So based on the image, we can see it has no mullions, and then it's like, okay. So I am going to rotate it 180 degrees. It didn't work. I'm gonna hit the space bar. Okay. also kind of not working. I'm going to go to an elevation, and I'm going to see if I can change it that way. So 90 degrees, it's not letting me change it. So let's see. I just want to be able to mirror it and then copy it over. So I'm just going to paste it here. I'm going to mirror it and where it has like more wall to go to. It says it's not cutting anything. I don't know why it keeps telling me it's not cutting anything. It's making a copy. It's making a copy. All right, well, let's go into edit and let's do zero lights. Zero lights, first of all. I think maybe I just have to uncheck traditional grill and it turns it off. Yes, beautiful. Okay, so I want it to be, I'm just gonna draft in what I think I want this to be and see. So these are detail lines, 3.6 by 3.6 probably. So let's just do that, 3.6 by 3.6. It's gonna change this. And now let's see if it'll allow me to mirror it. Still says no, which is really strange. I don't know why the bottom mirror, like I'm just trying to mirror it so that the slope is with the slope, but it doesn't seem to be working. It says it's not cutting anything. It definitely should be cutting something. I'm not really sure why it's not cutting something, but it's okay. So all of these are fixed. Can't change any of these. And I don't know why I can't mirror it. It's a bit odd. I've never had that happen before, where it just won't mirror in the elevation. Mirror, mirror. All right, well, I'm not 100% sure why I can't just rotate the triangle. It's definitely odd. If I can't get it to work, I'll just make it out of storefront. But it should be working. Should be working. Doesn't let me rotate it. Nope. 90 degrees, anything. I can mirror it on the center. Okay. Can I mirror it on the horizontal? No. No mirroring on the horizontal. This is weird. Delete instances. Delete them. Delete them. So for some reason, it's only letting me do a triangle that way. I'm just gonna do that curtain wall then, because we don't know why that's not working. So WA is wall. Don't know where my curtain wall is. Why it's not letting me scroll down. I'm just gonna type it in. Curtain wall. And I'm gonna go to the second floor plan. And we're gonna just draw it in. We're gonna go back to the elevation. And here it is. So all I'm gonna do is I'm going to select it and I'm gonna edit profile. And I'm just gonna right away just draw the shape that I want it to be. I'm going to trim it up, delete these extra lines. I'm going to make sure this is pulled over. It's going to say constraints are not satisfied because it's like the wall was drawn in this one area. Now I'm moving it out of the constraints. So I'm just going to remove them. Lets you do whatever you want when you do that. Delete elements, and there you go. We have our triangle window. And it looks like it's a little bit closer to the edge than I have it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to edit the window by pulling this out. I'm going to just adjust this like that. All right, so it's like in the wall a little bit. We're going to do that. That looks pretty good. So we can't move it up and down. If I want to move it at all, I have to move it in the object setting. So that's a little tutorial on how to do storefront, how to manipulate it. And if you're ever in doubt, can't do the windows, then that's how I do it. It looks like this roof is probably up a little bit higher than what I have it now, and there's more like meat there above the window. So I'm just gonna push that up. All right, well, it looks like I can't push it up because then it doesn't work on the roof. So I'm gonna go back to the north elevation. I'm just gonna bring this down. There we go. And that looks good. So I'm going to go to the second floor. I'm going to click on this and I'm just going to mirror it along the center of the window so it goes on the other side. Now we have that window in place. Love that. So I'm going to go back to the first floor plan and I'm going to create somewhere of the sliding door and I'm going to put the sliding door here. And then I'm going to do DI and I'm just going to go from there to the center of the door to the center here, and it is placed centered perfectly. If it wasn't, we would just hit EQ and then it would do that. I like to delete it and then unconstrain. Basically, that means that, you know, if you move something, it won't move with it. If I were to constrain it with this wall or something and move the wall, it would move with it. If that makes any sense. Revit language. So I'm going to delete that there. And now we have these windows. So you can see right away that the windows show up visually different than they do from storefront. So this is what the storefront looks like, and then we saw on the first floor plan, this is what the window looks like. So we're going to go back to this window. We have 3 tall, skinny windows here, tall, skinny window here, tall, skinny window here. They all look different sizes. So I'm going to create this big one in the front first. What we're going to do is we're going to take this single picture one, we're going to go to the floor plan, we're going to hit CS for similar, and we're going to pop it here. I'm going to do little reference lines with DL design lines. That's what they're really called. They're not really reference lines. There are actually reference lines in Revit. So the width of this is 3'6". I'm going to edit type. I'm going to duplicate this and I'm going to rename it 3'6" by, I'm not exactly sure what this height is. I'm going to do 8 feet and then see what it looks like in elevation. Could be taller, could be shorter. But I was going to keep up with my naming convention. So this is actually dash 3-6 by 8. And then I'm going to go change it here. So we can also control, these are called like the lights in the window, like how many lights there are. So we can count them and sort of figure out that way and then enter it into the information here. So this is a really cool family. You can add the lights, you can add different pattern numbers. You know, these are all different pattern numbers and you put them in and then you enter the number of lights, which are the like mullion lines in the middle of it. So I'll mess around with that once we get the overall height and width feeling good. So we're going to go with an 8-foot height. We're going to go with a 3-foot 6 width, and we're going to see what that looks like. All right. So again, we have to consider the sill height as well. I'm just going to hit the space bar because I want the white of the window to be on the outside. I know that the white is the exterior of the window. Whenever it's like brown like that, it's wood for the interior. And I only know that because I've been working with these families for a long time. So it looks like it's about 3 feet off of the ground. So I'm going to just set the sill height to 3 feet, top of slab. So I wanted 3 feet off the ground. And that looks pretty good. But it's definitely a lot taller than I currently have it. There's a lot of banging and movement happening above me. If you can hear it, I apologize. Again, the dogs live upstairs and they are wilding out right now. So I'm actually going to put top of slab, which is like the top of inside. I'm going to set it to 2 feet. It looks pretty good. So I'm going to change this. Looks centered in the ridge here. On our elevation, it doesn't. Again, we are just going off the floor plan. So I could have modeled it slightly different. I'm going to draw a line and see. So that's sort of where our middle is, which is pretty close to the edge, which doesn't look accurate. So I'm just going to go back. I'm also going to make this 12 feet tall. That's pretty tall, but I'm going to see what it looks like. Looks better. Looks pretty good. So yeah, now we have to count. So it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 3. So 6 and 3. So we're going to come down here. We're going to go high, it's 6, and wide, it's divided by 3. So that's sort of how that works. And now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so if we want to divide it by 6 lines, we have to do 7, because it's technically dividing it into 7. And then we have 3 bays here, and we have 3 bays here. So I'm going to go back to the floor plan. It is looking like it's in the right spot in floor plan, so my roofs could just be off. Again, this is modeled just from an image, so we'll see. It's looking pretty good. I think I'm gonna make this 10 feet. I'm feeling like the bricks on the top of the window make it feel taller. That's 20 feet. Let's do 10 feet. This is really small, but yeah, see, I feel like it's pretty high compared to this roof. So I think I'm going to put it back to 12. I'm just going to undo what I did. It's back at 12. I'm going to go in, I'm going to rename it. I'm going to keep it at 12. A lot of this is just looking at the proportions, looking at the picture, seeing what I think feels good, feels right, and moving on from there. So I think that's pretty good. I'm also going to go ahead and I'm going to change the mullions to be black to match the picture as well. So we're going to scroll down, and exterior unit finish is set to white right now. And we're just going to go in and we're going to change that. I have my materials already set up in the project, so I'm going to select black. I'm also going to do that for the exterior trim. Black. And I'm going to show you guys how to change your storefront mullions to actually do the same thing. Changing storefront mullions can be sort of like a hidden thing. My black doesn't look as black as I wanted to, so I'm going to go to Manage Materials. I'm going to click on the black. It's rendering this. I want it to actually render black, so I'm just going to do that. And any material that is black will now be updated to look like that. So it's definitely what I want. The mullions are really dark. And I am going to change the mullions on the storefront. So you can see that they're pinned. They're 2 inches by 4-inch rectangular mullions. If I want to change them, I unpin it. This becomes editable. I hit Edit Type. We go into the material and we change this to black. We have to unpin the mullion to make it editable. So that is just a tip. And then once we pin it back, it'll stay that way because now that family 2 by 4 rectangular is set to be black. In my material, if I'm using that black material everywhere, if I go in and change it in my materials here, it'll update anywhere that material is being associated with. So it'll update the curtain mullion, it'll update this window trim, and it does it all by itself in the materials, whatever this is associated with. So, hope that makes sense. I'm going to delete this now. I'm going to do this one now. It looks like if I go to floor plan, I'm going to do create similar, and I'm going to do right here. It looks like it's probably a 3-foot window. I had to guess 2'8", okay. A little skinnier, 2'8". We're going to do a duplicate. We're going to duplicate, 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 duplicate. I don't know. 2'8". And let's make this one 10 feet. It might be shorter. This one's 12, this one's probably 10. The sills on the bottom look the same, and the heads don't look the same, which is interesting, but probably intentional. The number of lights, 1, 2, 3, 4, so we're going to want to change this to 5, and then 3. So that's pretty good. We're going to change this to 10. We're going to change this to 8. We're going to hit OK. It's going to generate it for us. This is so valuable, so valuable. Okay. It's way down here. We're going to go set the sill height. We're going to put it at 2 feet from top of slab, which is the same sill height this is at. If we want to sit on the exterior of the wall, we could also adjust the wall depth to be like actually what it is. So we know that this wall depth is 6 3/4. So if I go here and do 6.75 inches, we're going to see that now it has adjusted itself to fit the length of the wall more properly. So again, I'm just going to hit the space bar. It's going to flip the direction of this window, flip it again, and now it's on the outside. I'm also going to go to the first floor. And I'm going to have this sit in a 5.5 inch wall because I really want it to sit in, yeah, right there, flush with like the outside just about. So sometimes you just have to play around with it, see how this is like sitting back in the wall, and then when we're in the model, we can see that from the side there's a little bit of stepping back from the material to the window. It just depends on like how you want the depth of your elevation to look, especially if you're doing a rendering. That stuff can be pretty crucial for you. And then this one is the one that I set flush in the wall. You can see that it literally looks flush. There's no step in the elevation. It just is like the wall and then the trim. And then this one where I haven't adjusted the wall thickness, again, steps in. And you can pretty clearly see that in floor plan. There's a step here as opposed to this one that's been adjusted. It's pretty flush. And I wouldn't really get too hung up on like the fact that it's sticking out just a little bit more, like it's probably like 1/8 of an inch. So let's just adjust this to be 5.5 inches, and it'll be sitting in the wall properly. looking flush, which I love to see. So I am also going to move along and do these tall, skinny windows. All right, so I'm going to go to the floor plan. I'm going to do create similar, and I'm going to look at the windows that are here. I'm going to do a view change to wireframe just so I can see through things and sort of see actually where the windows are below the solid walls in my reference image. So this is 1.9. I'm honestly thinking it's probably 110. Windows are normally not 1.9. It's probably 110. So I'm gonna delete that, delete that. Okay. And we're gonna go duplicate, duplicate. We're gonna do 110, 1-10 by these ones are probably 8 feet. I don't really know. We're looking at them. There's a bush there, but they look like they go pretty down further than these ones do, definitely. These are like full floor to ceiling windows. Um, it's looking like we have, can't really see it too well, 2 lights, like one down the middle, so 2 lights. And then how many horizontally? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, I think. So that would be 5 here. It's always one more, so that'll be 5. And then we'll adjust this height to 8 feet. We'll do 110. And then, well, I don't know why we're in wireframe, but we can't see the window is not cutting. That's why. So we're gonna want to set this to 1 foot off the slab. That even looks too high, honestly. It looks like it needs to be taller. Again, it also looks taller because there's these like soldier course bricks that are happening above them, which I'll show you how to do. We're going to get into some of the nitty-gritty details of this project, like the soldier course bricks here, some of these details, the archways, and maybe even look for some of these lights and these garage doors and some of the base around that white portion. It will be nice to add all those details in. So I'm just looking at these windows from the best angle. Gonna make it bigger. I'm gonna say this, it might be 10 feet, maybe 10 feet, maybe 10. And I'm gonna flip them again. I was gonna delete those because those are in the back. I'm gonna create somewhere and put those there. So 3 bay goes there. Delete that. All right, so I'm gonna make this 10 feet and see how that feels. And then I'm gonna put it -1 because I think this part possibly steps. Well, it looks like you're stepping up into the house regardless if we go to the floor plan. So this is all at 1 level. I mean, this could really be sitting on the floor level, most likely. So I'm just gonna make it flush with the slab. Now I'm looking at this and it's looking like the head needs to come down. So I'm gonna make this 8.6, and then I think the other 6 inches are probably like from the soldier course height, if I had to guess. This is set to 0. We look at it from the front. And with the soldier course above, it is probably just about the same size. If we can envision the soldier course being there, and then some trim hanging down, probably a little bit lower. That's probably what it is good for. So I'm going to copy these now. I'm going to set the wall. It's already at 5.5, and I'm going to copy these over. I'm going to go to wireframe, and I'm just going to make sure that these windows are like equally spaced from each other. Since I just sort of randomly, let's do this at 2, 4. Nope, that's too far. 2, 2. That looks good, looks good, looks good. That looks good. So now we're going to go with this window. It is a triple. I'm going to go back to this. I'm going to set it at 4 feet off the slab. That's probably too high. 2 feet off the slab. Let's look at the picture. This is not a great picture. So yeah, this is a good one. This is a door. This one's up pretty high. It looks like the sill here and here might be the same. You can see the sill of this window here. This one's definitely lower than this one is. I'm going to say the sill and the sill are probably the same height. And this head aligns with the door head. So a door is normally 7 inches tall, so whatever that ends up being will be that. So I'm going to make this 2 foot off the slab, just like this one is. It's up like a foot higher than, oh, it's about up like almost 2 feet higher, which makes me want to put this one up a foot more. Yeah, I'm just going to leave it for now. I'm just going to leave it for now because I'm getting all crazy about it. We're going to edit the type. We're going to do 2 lights and then 1, 2, 3, so that'll be 4 horizontal. So 4 horizontal, 2 lights. We're going to rename this to be, well, I need to take a width first because I did not do that when we were in the floor plan. I need to take the width of it. So if we go to the floor plan, looks like our width is a little bit bigger than what it actually is. So if I draw a line there, draw a line there, we have 5, 4. So I'm going to edit type. I'm going to rename this 5-4 by, let's just call it 6 feet because it's up off the ground. The door's up off the ground, so we have some room here. So let's make this 6 feet, and this will be 5, 4. We'll change this to be black. So I am running out of time. It's almost been an hour. It's crazy how fast time flies when you're just modeling away. It really is crazy. But we will continue the windows and the doors next week. Again, if you are following along, please tag me in your progress on Instagram, Architecture Unbound. I would love to see everyone's projects and if they're following along. If you're struggling with anything in particular, I'm going to change this to 5.5 inches again so that the wall depth is correct. A lot of the same things over and over again. It's wanting me to save the project because I haven't saved it in a long time. All right, so if I look at these, well, you can't tell if the heads align, but they probably don't because if we remember from the other view, the window is like way up here. So yeah, there's a big step in the sill, big step in the sill, and then we have, I feel like these probably should be down one more. And we have pretty good. I think that's pretty good. I think it's pretty accurate. These are only off by a foot, which I think is probably more accurate according to the picture that I'm looking at. The sills are probably only off by a foot. This head is definitely way taller up there. And then this stops where about the door would start. So I might have to adjust the height of this as we go. Right now it is 7 feet because it's 1 foot off the ground. And then the window height is 6 feet. So that would give us 7 feet, which is probably what this door is. And then there's a little break. And then we have another window here that like fills up that space. And then a third one that goes all the way to the top. So this one, and then this one. And we'll focus on those next time. But thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you guys really loved modeling and finding out the windows and doors and what I use. I think it's so valuable to have really good editable models that have been made and constructed by a professional who knows their products inside and out, can model them accurately, and you just pop them in your project and it makes your workflow so much easier, so much more accurate, and we love that. So yeah, thank you so much for joining me, and I can't wait to keep going next week.